I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You're all right.
Okay. Everybody have a chance to see the minutes from last week?
I didn't see anything about that a couple times on break.
Any additions or corrections?
I have to make a motion to generally approve them.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Commissioner comments and committee reports.
And well, we have the Mark meeting coming up this Friday that we've sponsored a table for 10, and I think the city's going to fill 7 of those positions, I believe. The county 3. That's all I have. And we had the city county meeting.
I have a ambulance meeting Friday, I believe, and then I have an upcoming NEK Multi-County Health Board meeting coming up shortly. It's either this Monday or next Monday.
Yeah, we should be. It's in Missouri. It's in state Kansas sales tax.
Not Missouri.
I don't know.
That might be the case.
Okay, new business before the board. We have a PO, the Solid Waste Department, payable to Schwab Eaton in the amount of $4,573.50. This is the remainder of the agreement that we had signed off on earlier. Part of that had already been paid, and this is the remainder.
That's our proposed bill.
Yeah, engineering study on the recycling building.
So what's the amount of the PO?
$4,573.50.
I move to approve.
A second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the PO. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Passed 3-0.
One in there somewhere.
That came through on this one. Have you already signed that?
I already got the check.
Okay.
I deposited it while we were sitting here this morning.
Okay. I just wanted to, I didn't know that you had that. Next item would be the vacancy on the NEK Multi-County Health Board. And we had 2 very good applicants. And I know earlier when we discussed it, you had said you wanted a recommendation, and the recommendation is to appoint Sheila Bose. Here's the letters if you want to see them. They were
Both good candidates.
yes. Lucky.
your board decide on one or the other?
Yes, the recommendation is for Sheila.
This candidate here certainly has experience in grant writing and dealing with government versus health itself. There's two different, the skill sets are different.
Yes, the medical appointment that we make is currently filled by Melinda Pruzon. So it's experience, but it's not, necessary for the position. This is the person at large, community at large position. So with the recommendation, do I hear a motion to appoint Sheila Bose?
I so moved, Mr. Chairman, being as it was your board's decision. I so moved.
I'll second it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Pass 3-0. Any other new business before the board?
I don't know if this is really new business. When I was going through the bills, I see where we pay waste management $76 a month to have all the trash. With the truck that we purchased to move recyclables, wouldn't it make sense to haul our own trash to the landfill? I mean, it's not a lot of amount. $900 a year.
That's a big trailer. I mean,
That's a big thing.
That's the roll off, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
I don't know what it is.
like what's at these the old recycling center.
Well, we have no way of moving that, so
Well, it's when it's on its trailer. I mean, it basically just goes from there directly. It's not really a trash truck. It's just a roll off. I don't even know if they can find parking around here by the time they drag that thing up here.
yeah, I thought maybe just like a small container, but if it's that big, we have no. We'll let that continue.
Okay. Do you have anything? Move on to old business then. Okay, let's go on to county councilor updates.
The Farmington Bridge project, which is an off-county bridge project that we're doing through a grant with K.S.A. Last week you approved the payment of $2,000 to Glenn and Barbara Butler. They did execute the grant of the right-of-way, and I did deliver the check to them last week. So that is done, and that's everything we need to do for that project to have the bid letting in June, I think, is when that will go out. So we're happy to have that done, and I'll let you know that it is finished. Maybe should have emailed that to Commissioner Bauer, but this is, yeah. Do you want one for? So this is just on the tax sale where we are right now. Yeah, I went a little overboard on the thickness of the paper. But these are the tracks that have been redeemed, and I just wanted to show you that we've had 45, I think, tracks that have been redeemed from the sale, which is probably a little higher than usual for this time. $143,000 was paid in taxes. That is, when someone redeems property from the sale, they have to pay all of the taxes, penalties, and interest that are due up to the date that they redeem. And then they have to pay a share of the costs of the sale. And so $25,000. That's in addition to the $143,000 has been paid for court costs up to now. That's still not enough. That's not yet enough to cover all of the expenses that we had in doing the abstracting, but we're in publication costs. but it's a good chunk, I guess. So,
How many properties still on the sale?
I don't know,
Approximately.
approximately 90.
Any dates in mind, Pat?
No, I don't have that set. And the U.S. attorney did file their acknowledgement of the proceeding, and that's where we have frequently had some delay, was satisfying them with they have some a little special rules that apply to them. But no, I don't have a date.
Now, this is public knowledge. It's no problem.
This is public knowledge, yes.
Just so I make sure that if someone's interested, that I don't divulge something I'm not supposed to. That is a pretty good chunk.
I think the longer this tax sale proceeds, the easier it'll get, because then now the taxpayers realize that we're monitoring it. We're really looking out for their best interest, because they're going to start penalties and interest.
Yeah, Roger has, I think I've told you before, has helped quite a bit with programming and database management, I guess it would be called, but trying to make sure that we have service of process on everybody that we can reasonably notify, because that's the problem. If you have the sale and you're relying upon publication notice, somebody can come back and say, if they had just done this thing, they would have found me. And so we're trying to make sure that we have everybody covered that needs to be covered, and that we are doing what we can to give actual notice to as many people as possible in the sale. Of course, there are some people that are deceased that we can't give any notice to, but there are others that have maybe just moved away, or maybe even are still living here, just not living with the property that they were at. They don't have water in their own name, or they don't own real estate, so they're a little harder to find.
Did we ever come with any resolution to, other than the taxes, there were some mowing fees? We had a complaint a couple of sales ago where they wasn't anticipating paying more. Did we get that resolved?
Well, the city actually resolved it by forgiving those that had that asked them to forgive it. I've done quite a bit of research on it, and we couldn't find. I did quite a bit of research on it. There aren't any reported cases that deal with the issue directly, but from the research I've done, I think that the law is clear that special assessments for the year of the sale, the entire year of the sale, are not abated, and that's consistent with the taxes, because the taxes for the year of the sale are also not abated. So if we have a sale in 2018, the purchaser will still owe the 2018 taxes that come due in December. And that's the case whether or not the special assessment has been assessed before or after the date of the sale. So we've made our explanation maybe a little clearer on
See, I always thought it was the day of the sale, everything is forgiven or forgotten. That new owner takes it from their porch, but that's not the case. They owe the 18 taxes.
Yeah, that's right. They owe the taxes for that year, but they're not due yet.
The fees, I think, that you were talking about were actually the mowing fees, because they couldn't take over the property, and that was accrued, and they were encouraged not to be on the property even though they purchased it until after those dates. So it's kind of made it.
That's something that I've talked with Curtis Wheeler quite a bit about, because I think it took up a great deal of his time at the city with dealing with those issues. So we have little directions about the sale or information about the sale, and we've revised that to make it more clear that those are still owed, and that if purchasers have concerns about it prior to the sale, they ought to go check that rather than relying on the city to or someone else to come up and tell us what they are. Some of those we wouldn't know about, because even if the work had been done prior to the sale, they send, by process, they send a letter to the landowner giving them an opportunity to pay before they go through the process of assessing. So I think they're maybe 90 days behind in the assessments being filed here from when they're incurred. So
Is it a state law that the new owner has to have that time to wait before they can make any improvements or do anything to property? Why don't we move that up?
well, it's not a state law. It's prudence maybe for them. Someone can come back, a landowner could come back for up to 1 year past the sale and claim that they weren't given proper notice and ask the court to set it aside. That's never happened in Atchison. It's happened some other places, and when it comes up, the person usually has some pretty simple way that if you had done this, you would have found me. And those aren't always really readily apparent, but and that's just a matter of safety for them. We're liable to pay back the amount of the bid plus interest, and that's all. We're not responsible for any work that they might have done, any insurance they might have spent, anything like that. And so that's, I think, just general advice to them is that they may want to consider that. They should talk to their own attorney if they have specific questions.
I don't know if this would be feasible or help or not, but the day of the sale, I know you make those announcements of all of the contingencies and things there that pertain to those properties. But like when there are so many properties within the city of Atchison, would it help to have somebody from the city of Atchison actually be there to make that announcement as far as the mowing policies or anything like that?
I think Curtis will be there, and I'm sure they would be willing to. I would hesitate to hand out a list of these are the charges that have accrued, because getting that to be completely accurate.
This is the bidder's responsibility to get this information.
It is.
I think unless you specify certain numbers have additional fees, you're going to scare a lot of people thinking, oh, is there something owed on that? And I think you're going to find a lot of it.
You know, if you buy real estate, you're making a serious transaction. And it's up to you to do your due diligence and get legal. I mean, I think some people think you just come in here and start business stuff. Because I've seen it. Just like, let's buy a bunch of $30 trucks. And then they realize, whoa, what did I do? I have to mow it now?
I've got responsibilities.
Yeah, so it is a serious transaction.
Yeah, I would like to err on the side of transparency.
Well, I agree with you, and you know, the law's set up to protect the property owner. So that's why they could come back. I mean, if they haven't been properly notified. And that's the way it should be. Property rights are a very important thing. But it is a real estate transaction. And if I'm going to buy a house or a building or a farm, I'm going to do my research on any problems with it, mineral rights, whatever I'm not going to get with a property. I want to know right up front. So it's the same thing in a sale, even though it's a lot less money in a lot of cases. So
the appraiser's office puts all the information that they have about property online that people can download and look at if they want to. We don't go out and take a picture of every property the morning of the sale and have it there. It's just not very practical to do that. Even to get around to view all of them, it'll take a few days probably for a person to just even drive by each one and look at it. So So yeah, hopefully buyers will be doing their due diligence and at least looking at Google Earth and Google Maps pictures, and then going out to look at the ones in person that they might have some interest in.
Okay. Do you have any other? Are you finished with that?
I'm finished with that topic. I've received from George K.S.A. and Company an underwriter engagement agreement. George K.S.A. is the has been the underwriter for the bonds that we've done in the past. Roger Edgar is the representative that has been up to talk to you a few times about the ball fields and even about this potential bonding for the bridges. He has an engagement letter that he's sent to me. Their fee is up to 1% of the bond issue, which is, I understand, very standard in the industry. And I think probably we should put it on the agenda for next week. I just received it by email this morning, so I can tell you the time. At 10:36 this morning. So I've kind of just scanned it a little bit, but that should be on our agenda next week to talk about that.
Would that be an executive session, or would that be?
I don't think so. I think it's just a topic for discussion about it.
Okay.
Do we have to vote to approve that letter of engagement?
Right. Yes. And so next week
It's be the open meeting.
Yeah. So I'll send. I'll make sure that Michelle has it. It can go out in your packets for next week, so you can all read it. It's 7 pages, I think. So
Okay.
The next but closely related topic has to do with the resolution for to authorize the issuance of bonds, and Gilmore and Bell has sent me a draft of that resolution, and the project description part of it, they suggest putting in one or more of the following projects will be considered, and then we've listed 9, I believe, 9 different bridges, and then we've given a cost estimate, and those total a little over $3.5 million. Well, I don't think anyone ever considered that we were going to do 9, but we weren't exactly sure which ones to do. And so again, this next week, I think we'll need to have some discussion about which projects, but also a cap, and just because the total of the 9 bridges might be $3.5 billion, you can limit your bond to $2 million, or whatever number you would pick.
So Seth would need to be present during that if we're going to talk about which projects.
If we're going to do that, yes. And he and I need to get together because there's a part of it that talks about the project description. So
next week he's going to be in class in 14.
Well, that'd be the 12th for here. Our meeting's the 12th.
Or the 12th or 13th. I mean, I think that's when he's gone.
I thought it was the third week from now.
Maybe just.
We can certainly check with him.
Yeah.
It'll be the 19th.
It's the 12th and 13th.
That's what I was thinking.
It is the 12th and 13th.
Yeah.
Oh.
I know,
Well, somebody is on schedule. So can we put that off for 2 weeks then?
yeah, sure. I think so.
Okay, let's put that on the agenda then for 2 weeks.
So the 19th?
19th, yes.
Well, why don't we put that in Seth's folder and he can be thinking about it? He knows roughly what we want to spend, so then a lot of that would be done.
Well, yeah, he definitely needs to know about it, but I think he may want to discuss options with us here in 2 weeks. Yeah.
Well, now you said that, I don't know that he really needs to be here for it. I think I need his help filling in part of the project description talk. But I don't think they're going to select the bridges at the meeting. They're just going to list these are the possible bridges.
Yeah, but you're almost gonna have to select them. They might be the final answer to come up with that dollar amount. I personally think he should be here.
Okay. You can wait 2 weeks.
Okay. Let's put him on 2 weeks and make sure that he's aware of it, and you're going to send that to him, so we get with him.
Yeah. This came this morning as well.
Mm-hmm.
We were in our meeting. So that's all I have. I would like to have an executive session on personnel matters. 45 minutes, maybe 30 minutes.
Okay. Just ourselves present? No one else?
Yeah.
Okay. Do I hear a motion to go into executive session, say it, one?
Give that template for the personnel matters.
Personnel matters.
Should all about personal.
Okay, I'll just make the motion. I'll move that the Board of County Commissioners recess into executive session at 1:30 to discuss personal matters of non-elected personnel as allowed by K.S.A. 75-4319B1, and that the purpose of the closed session is to protect the privacy rights of the employee, and that the board come out of the executive session at 2:15 p.m. in the commission room, first floor, courthouse, and those present will be 3 commissioners and County Councilor Pat Henderson.
I'll second that, Mr. Chairman. That's a motion.
Yes.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0.
Thank you.
Been a session you're welcome.
You know what, it's probably only like $3, honestly.
I was teaching these guys how to make a lunch. They didn't believe I knew how.
Okay. We have 8 requests and petitions from the CenturyLink Telephone Company to bury cable on our property and across our property. Have you had a chance to look at all of these?
I have. And they are they're asking for permission to work in the right of way. The statute gives them a right to place the things there, the telecommunications lines there. They just need our permission to work in the right of way. And so those appear acceptable to me.
And they're taking all the responsibility, liability.
Yes.
I move that we approve those.
I second it, Mr. Chairman.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the request from CenturyLink Telephone. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Passed 3-0. Oh, that was yours? I was thinking it was that.
No,
one.
it was
I'm sorry.
mine. I didn't even know what that meant. It was me.
Okay, well, I was thinking it was a hardline thing.
I thought it's probably a burn ban or something.
Okay, do we have any other business? If not, I move to adjourn at.
Only got to sign off those, Mr. Chairman.
Oh, I got it. I guess we better sign them.
Is that all those?
Chairperson, I can sign them afterwards. So I'll move that we adjourn at 2:17.
I'll second that.
It's been moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? We are adjourned.